Big breaking news that has come in from Jammu and Kashmir. At least 4 tourists were injured in a terrorist attack in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir today. Security forces and medical teams have rushed to the area. Remember, gunshots were heard in the upper meadows of Pahalgam's Baisaran valley. The area is approachable only on foot or on horseback. The terrorists were apparently in camouflage and it is believed to be a targeted attack. This is the latest that is coming in from the valley. Those visuals from the Pahalgam area of Jammu and Kashmir, where, remember, the valley has been seen a record number of tourists that have been coming into Jammu and Kashmir. But now these visuals coming in from Pahalgam, where a terror attack happened, a targeted terror attack, where there are reports and details still coming in from Pahalgam's Baisaran valley. But as far as we know right now, security forces and medical teams have rushed to the spot where 4 tourists are reportedly injured in this terror attack. Those visuals are coming in from the Pahalgam area of Jammu and Kashmir. Remember, the past few weeks have seen a record number of tourists in the valley, and that is why the terrorists have had a targeted terror attack in Pahalgam, particularly in the Baisaran valley, where most tourists go. Remember, viewers, this is a popular tourist spot in Jammu and Kashmir, and this is where the targeted terror attack has happened. What we're getting to know right now is that at least 4 tourists have been injured in this attack. My colleague Pradeep Datta is joining us with more on this. Pradeep, what more details do you have? What's the latest situation there in Pahalgam?
See, right now, the information what we are getting that 5 tourists are said to be injured because short while back there was an attack in the Baisaran Valley that's in Pahalgam area of South Kashmir. And here to reach Baisaran Valley one has to go by foot because motor vehicles cannot reach there. There are meadows, there are sprawling lakes, and this is considered to be one of the most beautiful spots where normally visitors stay there. And it's not clear where from the terrorists came, but what actually we had been told by the sources that they were wearing the camouflage dress because they wanted to checkmate security agencies. They opened fire, because of which 5 of the tourists have got injured. Right now the medical team has already been rushed to the spot so that the tourists can be brought to the nearby hospital for treatment. And this attack has happened at a time when the US Vice President is on a 4-day visit to India, because this is the second time, because last time it was in Chatti Singhpura when Bill Clinton was touring India. That was the time when the 6 were targeted by the terrorists, and this time when the Vice President of the United States of America is on a 4-day visit to India, and the terrorists have once again tried to tourists. This time 5 of the tourists are said to be injured and the area has been cordoned, because during the last few days, because terrorists had been making several attempts to make their presence felt. Sometimes they are trying to carry out attack in either in the Jammu region, sometimes they are trying to infiltrate into this side of the border, because the reason being that Pakistan cannot see smile on the faces of people of Kashmir Valley. Already we have seen that how people of Kashmir Valley, they have not only rejected terror, but they have rejected separatism also, because hardly any youngster is joining terror rank. So that's when one of the reasons that in frustration they know that they can't confront the security forces. The best option for them is to target tourists, because these tourists are not carrying with them any kind of a weapon. This way they will be doing 2 things. One, they will be generating the fear psychosis. Second, they will be trying to hit out at the economy because they want the tourists not to come out of this place. And the third thing is that they cannot see peace and prosperity in the region. That's why they have planned this kind of an attack. And right now the search and cordon operation is going on, because if we talk about the South Kashmir area, normally Lashkar and Jaish terrorists are said to be operating in this particular belt, and the search operation is continuing. It's not clear whether these terrorists, they came from either the Kishtwar side towards this place, or they were operating in this Kishtwar as well as this Pahalgam belt. It is not clear whether this was a recently infiltrated group, but what we had been told by the sources that they were wearing a camouflage dress, and all of a sudden they opened fire, and because of it the 5 tourists have got injured.
Right,
so reason is that because during the last 2-3 years we have seen the record number of tourists has been coming out to this place, so they can't see the economy growing, they can't see the flip in the economy, they can't see peace and prosperity in the region. That's why they were trying to generate fear psychosis, and knowing that they can't match the skills of the armed forces, so it is better to go for the softer targets, and this time they have chosen tourists in this region. And that too at a time when J.D. Vance along with his family is already touring India for on a 4-day visit.
Whatever message the terrorists want to send, I think India's military and India's security forces will give them a befitting reply. But let me also quickly go across to Yavar, who is on his way to the spot where this terror attack has happened. All right, Yavar, I'll come back to you. I'm right now joined by PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti on the phone line with us. Mehbooba Mufti ji, we have been witnessing record number of tourists in the Jammu and Kashmir Valley in the past few weeks. All right, I'm told that we will be able to reconnect with Mehbooba Mufti. But let me quickly go across to Yavar right now, who, as I was saying, is on track to that terror attack site in Pahalgam. Yavar, last week I was there in Kashmir, and I personally can vouch for the fact that there were record number of tourists and there were people from all across the country there. And therefore, the terrorists trying to create fear, trying to fear-monger in the valley so that people don't come there. And also, as Pradeep was saying, coming simultaneously while the US Vice President is on an India visit. What is the latest that you're hearing right now? What's the situation?
Well, exactly. Let's go step by step. First of all, there's a huge rush of the tourists that were witnessed here because of the tulip garden. And as you said that you were in the Kashmir, you saw that how these tourists were freely roaming all across, how the tourist flux was there. And rightly that right now, if we talk about this operation, this has been intensified. Some of the routes were closed by the security forces and nobody is being allowed to go from that particular site. But on the other side, if we go through the numbers, in fact, as we told that 4 were injured, there has been one casualty there. However, the official confirmation is still awaited into that matter. First priority for the security forces were to ensure the foolproof medical cover for these people who were injured.
All right, Yavar, I'll come back to you. I'm told we have Mehbooba Mufti, PDP chief, back with us on the phone line with us. Mehbooba Mufti, a shocking attack that has come to the fore from Pahalgam, record number of tourists that were being witnessed in the past several weeks. Your first response?
It's really very shocking and highly condemnable that tourists who are our guests, they have been attacked today at Pahalgam, which is very unfortunate. And the only thing I can say that my heart goes to their families. Those who are injured, the families must be very worried. They must be sick, feeling sick with worry. It should not happen with so much security around. I mean, it's really surprising how could this happen with so much security around. I think they need to, have an investigation and find out what were the lapses so that, all these, young people who come to have a nice time in Kashmir and they are all innocent people. They want to have a nice time. So this attack is very cowardly and I condemn it.
It also goes on to show Mehbooba Mufti ji that, the terrorists want to create fear among those who are traveling from across the country and the world even, that, don't come to Valley, don't come to Jammu and Kashmir. We will not let prosperity and growth happen in Jammu and Kashmir.
Well, whatever the terrorists want, that is none of my business. But what we should do, we should take enough precautions so that these innocent people don't, become the fodder for the guns. And because Kashmir has, majority of the time, there never ever have been, such attacks on tourists. If you, for the last 30 to 35 years, so much of security around. It's really worrying and we need to look what is happening and why this incident has taken place and take care about it. As far as the terrorists are concerned, they have their own agendas. Everybody knows about it. But what we have to do, we have to do.
All right, Mehbooba Mufti, thanks very much for joining us on Times Now. That shocking terror attack coming in from Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam. Of course, the PDP chief condemning this terror attack, saying that investigation should be conducted into what exactly had happened and where these terrorists had come from. 5 terrorist viewers have been injured so far. Yavar, coming to you, Yavar viewers is on his way to this particular site in Pahalgam, the Baisaran Valley, which is a popular tourist destination. Yavar, get us the latest that you're picking up. What is the ground situation there?
Well, as of now, 5 have been injured. In fact, there's one casualty, which the sources are telling us it has done, unfortunately. And the officials, they say that they are verifying the ground facts as well. For the security forces, there was a priority to cordon off this entire area. Now, the quick Protection Team, that's the Specialized Operational Units of the CRPF, along with the SOG of J&K Police, they have been pressed into service. Major reinforcement have been pressed into service, and we have been given the understanding that top officials from the security establishments, they are monitoring the ground situation there. That's what we are being told, because this Pahalgam is around 95 plus kilometers away from the Srinagar, and there's a very huge rush of the tourists this time on the national highway. When we were on en routing towards this particular place, we saw that how many vehicles were moving towards this particular place, as you were saying that you were in the Kashmir. So this was a scene that we have been witnessing in the Kashmir Valley over the past 3 years. There's a huge rush of the people here. There's a huge rush of the tourists here. It has been widely appreciated by the Prime Minister. Recently, the crucial security review meeting were held in the Srinagar. The Home Minister Amit Shah praised the security forces for the huge chunk of these tourists that were witnessed there. And remember that this incident came in light when barely the month after we had an Amarnath Yatra being commenced here. So somehow this is an indication for the security forces that this year the security agencies should work on a very toughest mode, and there has been already the intelligence alert that the militants may try to get the hotter side from the Jammu, that's in the Samba or in the Katwa or elsewhere. But remember that this attack which has been carried out in the Pahalgam is somewhere an indication for the security forces that there should be the additional preparedness and homework that needs to be done on the track. And my colleague Pradeep was rightly saying that these militants were in the camouflage, so one could have pretended that these are the soldiers who could have been roaming there. So this is the scene that how they came, how they attacked on the tourists, and eventually
I'm right now joined by Viren Thapar on the broadcast. Mr. Thapar, your first response to the kind of shocking terror attack on tourists particularly that has happened in Pahalgam?
It is most unfortunate, very, very unfortunate, because the tourists have nothing to do with all that is going on in the valley. The real fact is that tourism is bringing prosperity to J&K. It's accounting for 3 lakh tourists in 1 year there, and they are both Indians and people coming from abroad. So therefore, it is contributing a lot to the well-being of the Kashmiris, which is not settling well with the terror organizations across the borders. So this kind of an attack has taken place. It is very dastardly, and we will have to take good control of such new kind of avenues opened for terrorism. Not only this, there will be economic targets also, and there will be other such religious sites which will be targeted. There will be tourists that will be targeted to discourage the sector. So that is my take.
Okay. Colonel Thapar, you very rightly said that it's just civilians, it's just tourists from across the country who are traveling and want to enjoy the Jammu and Kashmir Valley. If you have any angst, if you have any sort of problem with the administration, you sort it out with the administration. Why target innocent civilians of the country?
No, they are targeting the innocent tourists of the country to harm the economy, harm the peace that is now prevailing in J&K state. They want to do damage to the well-settled order over there. So that is a problem with they cannot stomach that we have been able to settle Kashmir to a proper state of affairs.
Right. Colonel Viren Thapar, thanks very much for joining us on Times Now and sharing your perspective. I'm also joined by Mr. S.P. Vaid, former DGP of the Jammu and Kashmir Police. Mr. Vaid, this is extremely unfortunate, this kind of targeted terror attacks against innocent civilians from across the country who only came to the valley to enjoy the kind of hospitality that the Kashmiri citizens extend to the rest of the country. What do you make of this? Obviously, this has to be regarding sending out a message on part of the terrorists that do not come to the valley because we will not let Jammu and Kashmir prosper.
Absolutely. This is a well-planned strategy with instructions from across to the terrorists who constitute more than 90% of the terror groups now coming from across the border. They have instructions from across to disturb peace. Earlier local terrorists used to avoid hitting the tourists because it hits the local population and their support from people get weaned away. But now that is not the case. It is all 90% foreign terrorists, and they will do what Pakistan handlers will say that order them to do, and that's what they are doing. They are trying to disturb the sense of normalcy which is prevailing in Kashmir, and also change the narrative. And Amarnath Yatra is coming, so
Yes.
This is also a message that you need to be very careful in the future. I think whatever groups are operating in this South Kashmir, we need to go after them and eliminate most of them before Amarnath Yatra.
Yes. Mr. Ved, the fact that you're also very well versed with the terrain, with the kind of challenges that the valley has, what do you think should be the next few steps forward? Because obviously this has been done with the purpose of creating fear among tourists.
Absolutely. So number one, see that tourists are properly protected. No more incident must happen like this. This has happened, okay, but then we should see that tourists don't venture out in deep forests with horses and with trekking. That needs to be made very, very clear. Number two, even the travel need to be ensured properly. ROPs need to be there from Srinagar to Pahalgam, Srinagar to Gulmarg, Srinagar to Sonamarg, and whichever other tourist places are there. And number three, I think we must intensify anti-terror operations, and whatever groups are operating here, we need to go after them extensively based on local intelligence. I think that I'm sure local police should be able to get help of the local people, because ultimately attack like this hits their earning. People will run away from Kashmir, and your hotels where you were not getting even single room today will eventually get empty, and they will all cancel their bookings.
All right, Mr. S.P. Ved, thanks very much for joining us on Times Now and helping us understand this entire situation. Viewers, let's also tell you the update that has come in. Remember, details are still trickling in of this shocking terror attack that has taken place in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam. 10 people have been injured. Unfortunately, one person has lost their life in this terror attack. Let me quickly go across to Pradeep, who is continuing to be with us on the broadcast. Pradeep, Mr. S.P. Ved spelling out what should be the next few steps forward. Number one being, of course, protecting the civilians, the tourists that are traveling to Jammu and Kashmir from across the valley. But it also reveals the sinister plans of the terrorists who want to create fear among the tourists, who want to send out a message, not just when the American Vice President is here, but also because of the fact that the Amarnath Yatra is coming up, and therefore that will sort of, in their minds, restrain people from coming to Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, you are absolutely right. In fact, whenever there is a high-profile visit, often terrorists try to make their presence felt. 2 decades back also, we have seen that during Bill Clinton's visit also to India, they had targeted the Sikh population in Chhattisgarh, in which more than 35 Sikhs were killed. And this time when J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States of America, is on a 4-day visit, once again terrorists are trying to make their presence felt by targeting innocent, unarmed tourists in Baisaran Valley, which is considered to be one of the best valley in Kashmir's South Kashmir area, where we have got the sprawling meadows, we have got the crystal clear lakes, and the tourists normally go to this place, and by targeting them, they are trying to generate, one, they are trying to make their presence felt. Second, they are trying to send a message that all is not well in Jammu and Kashmir, even after abrogation of Article 370. Third, they are trying to generate fear psychosis. And fourth, they are trying to hit out at the economy. A reason obvious, because rightly said by Mr. S.P. Ved, the former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, because 90% of the terrorists who are operating right now in Jammu and Kashmir
Pradeep, I'll come back to you. Let's get